Yep. Share on X. Yes. Yep. At that. Have to have that image. Definitely need that image. I am live as of 48 seconds ago. Very good. And yet it has not updated. Very strange. Well, I'm sure that'll, there we go. And posted. Very good. Got my juice box. Gonna need that. Don't want to get thirsty. There we go. Put you there. And, hey there, hi there, Hyde here. Today we're going fishing. Today we're doing something new. Usually what I do, when I do a Zatsudan stream, I play pool, right? Today I figured, why not play something a little bit more visually interesting than SNES Pool? So I've been looking on the Nintendo eShop for the Switch, and I've been looking on Steam for any kind of sale that would be very interesting to me. And I realized, well, a fishing game ought to be just up my alley. I don't know if anybody on the channel is aware of this, but I'm actually an avid fisherman. Yes, so avid, in fact, that I had to whip up this model today, last minute, just because I felt like doing it, right? Let me show you that real quick. I actually have more of a model for this little joke section than I do for anything else. I just put my head on this. But I have arms and legs for a change. How about that? Yeah? I can do a little jig for you. In fact, I have a game where it's all about jigging. That's not this game. This game's gonna be a bit simpler. But yeah. Figured why not give this a try. And for any of you clever folks out there in the audience, you'll notice that the title of this stream series is a clever pun, right? A very clever pun. I don't know if anyone's gonna get it. It's actually my favorite type of bait for catfish. Yeah. If you say it real fast, chatter kind of sounds like cheddar. And of course, cheese baits are fantastic for catfish. So if you want to go catfishing, he's evolving, soon he will have hips. I have hips! Did you not see, Diana? Hold on, I'll do it again. Yeah, I have hips right there. They're just under the waders. You can't see it under the thighs. I don't have thighs. I definitely have hands, though. They're just in my pocket. Yes. So we have Fishing Simulator, Fishing Universe Simulator, my apologies. Gotta get the universe in there. I'm pretty sure there is a Steam game. He's evolving, soon he'll have knees. I don't know. That's kind of outside of what I'd usually show, right? It's very improper for a Victorian male like myself to show knees, right? Yes, not in polite society, no. I do have Zatsudan topics lined up. We're gonna get into it. And, if this game doesn't sound very fun, doesn't look very fun, I have more. That's the great thing about this shovelware. I got it for $2, and I thought to myself, this game, $2, and then feet. No, no, I hate feet. Diana, please, please do not make me put feet on my model. So for $2, I could get like half a cup of coffee, and I figured I have enough coffee in my life. In fact, I have so much coffee now because I have not been making coffee wine. You know what, let's get fishing, and then we can ramble, right? So we're gonna go free fishing, and I like this place. There's a thunderstorm here. Fantastic. It's not a very realistic game. There are more realistic games out there. That's not really what I wanted today, no. So for about the price of, I don't know, half a cup of coffee, I got this game, and I think it works just neat, right? We can move around like this, and we use the right stick on the Switch Joy-Con to do this, to move our reticule for aiming, and we can move from side to side with the left stick. It's very simple. You can watch your bait fly around. If you do this in real life, you're liable to lose an eye. I'm a catfish. I feel like I'm catfishing today, you know? Yeah. I don't think there are any catfish in this lake, unfortunately. I do like the physics, though. Like, the rod in this is... Oh, I'll show you in a second here. Thank you, Internet. So, pressing the X button, we can cast. Just like that. And we get this nice little bobber scene, right? Now, I don't actually use floats when I'm fishing with live bait. That seems like a terrible idea. But it's fine, right? It keeps the bait from snagging on the bottom. So if you're fishing in a lake or pond, it's actually not a bad idea. Unfortunately for me, I prefer running water. And there are running water floats out there. You can buy them. Any good fishing supply store... Oh, nope. Nope. We lost the bite there. Any good fishing supply store, or a Bass Pro Shop, will have running water floats. I don't recommend them, though. See, I have this problem... There we go. I have this problem with floats where I feel like they'll just snag them on other things, right? Like, there's debris on top of the water as well. So you can see I can actually direct this. That's really neat. That's a great way to implement that in the game. It doesn't really do much other than decrease the tension, but we don't actually have that much tension on the line, right? That little green bar that showed up in the middle... Oops. There went our bite. That little green bar that showed up in the middle is actually the tension bar. And on the left-hand side, we can set that. We can set the drag lower or higher if we should choose. We don't need to do that. I found, after playing a couple hours of this game, you don't actually need to do that. It is perfectly fine where it is. No matter how big or small the fish, you can just reel them on in, right? There's a little bit of fighting. No more than what I'm fighting with my ISP at the moment. There we go. So you see that little faded green bar right at the tip of that eyelet right there? Yeah. That's the tension bar. And if I reel in faster, which is actually me rolling around on this... Oh, we got a big one. On this little Joy-Con right stick. Yeah. That's how we reel in. Great way to wear out your Joy... That is not a big fish. In general, is having a big... No. The thing about boats is, if you're going on a lake, or if you're on a big pond, a boat will help you get to some place that standing on the shore wouldn't, right? You can get to deeper water. You can get to submerged obstacles. Oh, there we go. But at the same time, depending on the... Ooh, that one's big. Depending on the type of fish that you're fishing for... Ooh, we've got some tension. We're going to ease up. You want to go the opposite direction if you want to keep the tension. without reeling in. That's true in real life. If you go the direction the fish is fighting in, the tension will decrease, but they might spit the hook. If you go the opposite direction the fish is fighting in, you will increase the tension on the line, which is a better chance to keep the hook, but you might snap the line, which is why you stop reeling. There's no boat in front of me, but that's a beautiful cityscape, which as far as I'm concerned, that's a nice perch. Look at that. Yes, beautiful. I hate their spines. Yeah. That over the... Oh, you mean that boat? I'm pretty sure this is like a building, but this is a boat. Yeah. We can actually walk along this shore a little bit, which is fantastic. I like when you can move around at a fishing spot. Oh, by the way, here's a tip for all of you budding fishermen out there. Do not stand in a rainstorm holding a big graphite fishing rod, or an aluminum one for that matter. Any kind of fishing rod, really, because you will be the tallest thing out on the lake. Which means you're a perfect lightning rod. Fantastic idea if you want to be struck by lightning. So, doing this, not great. Squints, I thought one of those was a river cruise. Yeah, I could see that. You might be able to see that through the crustiness of the pixels. Speaking of crusty, my model is looking pretty crusty today, right? Yeah. Again, I made this very last minute. I got these waders, and I tried them on. I haven't used them out in the field yet. Yeah. Fun fact, the waders that I use are probably 4 to 6 years old. That's a much better pike. I really hate fishing for pike. Can I tell you why? Do you see that little mouth on that pike there? That's full of really, really sharp teeth, right? They're like little razor blades. And they're so sharp that they will bite through your fishing line unless you have like a steel leader. So you have to be very careful and actually consider your tackle when you're actually going out to fish for pike. Personally, I do not fish for pike too often. We're catching a lot of them because we're using live bait, and pike are predators, right? Some fish are scavengers. They'll eat off the bottom. Some are filter feeders. Gross things that eat trash, detritus, things like carp, right? And carp are especially easy to catch on things like dough baits and corn because, you know, they're just organic vegetative matter. Yeah, that's a tiny fish. We didn't even need the landing net for that one. It isn't a pretty game. I can give you that. They have like one tree repeated over and over ad infinitum. And then in the background we have a lovely like 2 megapixel camera image of trees, I guess. I think there's some lighting on this building, maybe that building. I'm not sure. I don't think those are actual like 3-dimensional shapes. They're mostly just pictures, I think. And that's fine, right? This is all you need in a fishing game. Don't like to fish? No, of course not. Holding a cat right now. Time for her medicine? Cats do not like medicine, and they have sharper teeth than most fish, right? I'll show you something else in this game. This game actually has, lore movements. No. Tell you what, we'll use red. Yeah. Red seems like an appropriate color for, dying in a lightning storm, right? So best of luck with the cat medicine. They have very sharp teeth. So we actually reel this like a real rooster tail. And right there, we set the hook, and it's as simple as that. I don't actually like that so much. It doesn't feel natural to me. I think this game is better as a float fishing game, which is fine, really. But I'll tell you something else. This game also has, like, gacha elements, and it really confused me. The first thing that you do when you open up this game is you spin a gacha wheel, and you see what goodies you get for that day. I don't know. I was not expecting that. Yep. Good with the medicine. Oh, I'm very happy that she's a good girl and that she took her medicine. Oh, we got a nice jump. I think this is probably an okay fishing game if you're looking for semi-realistic fishing. I don't think it's the best fishing game on the market, but for $2, I really couldn't pass it up. And it's so simple, I can talk over it, and I can share all of my fishing knowledge, right? Oh, I wonder what that is. Was that a silver carp? I think it's a silver carp. Maybe it's a pike. Is it a perch? Oh, it's a perch. It's a pretty big perch. I have this in metric units. I don't know how much 3.18 kilograms is. I can switch this to pounds real easy. Yeah. Let's do that. There we go. So now we're in pounds. So everybody who isn't American is going to have a terrible time with this stream. But it's going to make my life easier. I'll be honest with you, I've spent like 3 or 4 hours playing this game, just preparing for this stream. I've bought bait, I've bought lures, I've unlocked areas. That's a big fish too. I can't tell if that's a tail just slapping out of the water. It's very rare to see such a big fish in this game. And I've caught like 3 of them so far. Man, no catfish. There are catfish in this game, just not in this area. I have not unlocked them yet. Like, every one of these big fish is worth about 100 gold, right? And yes, we're using gold like some kind of medieval peasant. And every area that you unlock is increasingly costly. Some of them cost like 7,000 gold. Yeah. Let's increase the drag a little bit. You see, we increase the drag over here, and that increases the tension on the line. That'll pull it in faster, but at the risk of snapping the line, just like in real life. But it does make it easier. That's a big one. Sometimes you can lag this thing out and you get like 3 hands. I really like that when that happens. That might be the biggest fish I've ever caught in this game. 9.92 pounds. Man, that's a big pike. I think you can see the sharp teeth even better in this. Are you a cat fisherman, or... I guess... let's call them a cat angler. How about that, Wintercraft? Are you a cat angler? Yeah. I've caught catfish, nothing that I'd ever want to eat. Just for sport, you know? Some of the water is just not great for it, right? Polluted, gross. But that's where catfish like to live, because they're filthy bottom feeders too. Yeah. Cat wrangler. That's true, Diana. You just wrangled that cat. You gave her medicine and gave her medicine and everything. Yes. You know, there are people who don't even use, like, fishing rods or lines to catch catfish. They just stick their hands in catfish burrows, and they call it a day once they pull them out. Yeah, I don't think I'd do that. I'm afraid of getting, like, brain-eating amoebas, right? Brain-eating amoebas are a real thing, and if you're going into the water... Oh wow, we're getting some big fish. Gotta lower the drag. Tire this one out. Brain-eating amoebas tend to be more prolific in the warmer months and in stiller water. But that doesn't mean they couldn't be anywhere, right? Brain-eating amoebas can be in your brain right now, and you would never know, right? I think I have that problem sometimes, right? Let's increase the drag just a tiny bit. It is a lot more like realistic fishing than it is arcade fishing. Like, some games, they'll show you the underwater view of the fish biting on the lure or the bait. I don't like those so much. I don't think that's very realistic. In real life, you're going by feel most of the time. I don't know how I was reeling like that, but very good. It's an even bigger pike. Look at that. Getting some absolute monsters monsters today. Yeah. So, I bought some other games as well. I have a lot of games that I just haven't played. But I've been playing this for a while just to unlock things. Oh, there's a neat feature. Like, there is a sales cycle. I don't know if it's by day, I don't know if it's updated live, or if it's just, you know, an internal calendar. But there are daily sales in the shop. I'll show you that in a bit. I'm catching too many nice fish here, you know? These are all worth like 100 gold. And, ooh, lowered that. 100 gold is pretty good. I can buy like 10 minnows for 100 gold. That's what I'm using as live bait today. Minnows. That's what I prefer to use when I go actually fishing. I haven't been fishing in a long time. And maybe I should go out soon. Yeah? I feel like I probably should. I don't know. The fall's here, and with it came a hurricane, and my head has been killing me. So this might be a shorter stream just because of that. I have not had a decent day. Ooh, by 0.01 pound bigger. So I guess I'll show the fish store, right? So we have fishing tasks. I don't do those. Those are like the quests of the game to progress. No, thank you. We have a fish market, and we sell fish here. Yes. Look at that beauty right there. 49 gold. 125. That's pretty... I'm sorry. Do you see how plasticky that looks? It looks like one of those singing bass that you would hang on your wall. You'd get them as a novelty gift. That's fine. Just sell it. 81. All that work, and I get like... I don't know. 110 minnow thing per fish. It's not really worth it to use minnows. That's okay. I'm having fun, right? And I prepared for this stream so that I could have fun. I don't have any more fish. Oh, I don't have any damage, but the infrastructure is again what it is. Every time there's a storm, we have above land cables for things like ISPs and obviously cable and telephone as well. So it hiccups a lot more when it's storming, and it's still storming, but mostly around here just a lot of rain. Yeah, a little bit of mass wasting. And if you know anything about geology, mass wasting is just the shifting of a lot of mass, ground mass. It'll just slump or slough or slowly crumble. It's not that big of a deal so long as it's not onto a road or something. Yeah. Further north. Yeah. Head hurts, absolutely. Could use a fish to smack someone? Look, I'm not saying you couldn't. I think there are easier weapons to come by, you know? I feel like using a fish would be great, because much like a sack of potatoes, it probably wouldn't leave a bruise, right? It has that give to it, a fish body, that would probably just distribute that force into the fish. No? Don't worry about it, Diana. It's fine. It's fine. I've had headaches all week. That's okay. You've had them. A lot of people have had them. Just a big storm front, right? No. Fish are weapons in many video games. Yes. Yes, okay. You're not wrong. There's always the comical fish option. I feel like it's kind of an insult thing, right? To get a giant fish and slap your enemies with it. So there are a lot of different baits in this game, right? A lot of different lures. I don't use them, and I'm not going to. I'm going to use the live bait. And as you can see, I buy 10 for 112 and those are on sale. It's not a good price. Yeah, I get like 8 of those per jump. No. Yeah. Yeah, roughly. Roughly 8, yeah. It's not a great price. Then there are other things that you can get, like, there are bigger... This is where you store your fish, and you can sell them. Oh, 13,000? Oof. Look at those prices, that's ridiculous. I have the best reel, I have the best line. I don't have a better rod, but you don't really need one. There are fish finders as well. On sale for 9,000. Oh, that is awful. It was on sale for 6,000 just the other day when I was setting things up. Always feel bad for the little fishies? Do you mean like when they're used as weapons, or do you mean like when they're caught by anglers? I usually throw mine back unless I plan on eating them. In which case, you know, I just give them some exercise, you know? I don't want a universal float. I need another live bait float, I think. No, we're using a far range float. We want a live bait. Yeah. I had to cut the line on my live bait. Well, I didn't have to, but I did. So where are you? River float, river float. Universal night float? No. Bait fishies? Oh yeah. Yeah, I do feel bad for them as well. Especially because, well, you fish with them live. Is there not actually... Am I thinking of the other one? I'll let you in on a secret. I do have another fishing sim. And there are boats in this game. I do have another fishing sim. I'm not sure if I want to play it. It's kind of gimmicky. It has motion controls. And, it is very annoying. Like, this game is at least calm. It's very interesting. I don't know about the other one. So, as you can see, there are other places, and we got different fish. I really want to catch some sturgeon. I think that'd be fun. I've never caught sturgeon before. I don't even know what a zander is. I'm vaguely aware it's an ugly fish. There are eels and chubs. Carp galore. Bass and trout. I kind of want to catch bass and trout. Yeah. But I want to go to this one. Right? I think rivers are better to fish in, just generally. And the catfish are all the way at the end here. Looked at big... Yeah, well, I like the bait fish. I bought some. Did you not see me buying some? I replenished my stock. Tell you what, let's go fishing for some sturgeon. Yeah. Sturgeon, I think, are predators. They have big mouths. Look at this place. This place is beautiful. If you don't look too close, it's beautiful. We have very good two-dimensional mountains, and they put up this cardboard here to make it look like... Oh, we had an invisible wall. To make it look like there's a forest. We're really getting our $2 worth in graphics here. And you can also stand in the water, but it will push you back out if you stand too far in it. Like, you're not supposed to stand in the water. I don't know what that's about. I'm wearing waders. I should be able to stand in the water if I want to. But it's nice that you can... Very Truman Show. It kinda is. Right? Like, the Truman Show had some fantastic, set design. This is where you'd want a boat. You see how big this lake is? The deepest spot is probably in the middle. That's not true for all lakes, but when you're fishing for very deep water fish, you want to be in the center. When it's raining, however, fish... what? No, we need this up here. It's so hard to see that reticule. Reticule. Can ruin the forest easily? What do you mean you can ruin the forest? How do you ruin the forest that easily? I guess you could set it on fire. That'd be a great way to ruin a forest. Except it's not. Actually, forest fires are some of the most rejuvenative... Regenerative? Rejuvenating. One of those words. Rejuvenating, things for a forest. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have... Maybe I shouldn't have come to this lake. Maybe I do need a boat. Knock it over? Oh. I don't think you need to knock it over. Just wait for it to rain, it'll get wet, and it'll just slough to the ground. Yeah, natural compost. So I like that I can do this in this game. Like, I have full range of control over this hand. There are some games that don't let you do that. Game Force looked easy to destroy. Sure, sure. Just get it wet, catch it on fire, it'll go up in a blaze of glory. Like, that's not a real forest. I don't think this is going to work. Oops. We're gonna have to switch baits, I think. I think we're gonna have to go for... Nope, that's not the right one. Where am I? There I am. So we're gonna have to go for something like, I don't know. Do we want worms? I think I have worms. I think I have slugs, in fact. Cherry? Let's try bait worms, yeah. Maybe worms? I don't know what sturgeon eat, actually. I know people eat sturgeon. Casually tries to knock it down, but actually is a wall. You know what? Could be. Like, maybe it's reinforced concrete, and it's just like a mural. Very... Oh yeah, worms are working. I think Xander's like worms, probably. You know, when I hear Xander, I think of the character from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I really like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I used to watch that show all the time. And I don't mean like when I was a kid, although that's true too. Hyde Sr. really liked that show. And I don't know why. Maybe it was Willow. Could have been Willow. Ooh, big fish. I don't blame him if it was. But Xander was a character. That's just a carp. I don't like that. Carps are not what we're after. What else do we have here? We have... I'm blocking myself. I think chicken liver is probably just going to be for, yeah, that's probably just gonna be for catfish. Like, if you let chicken liver rot in the sun for a while, catfish love that. Like I said, you do not want to eat catfish if you can avoid it. Catfish are just gross little things. I really hate the taste of catfish too. And I know what you're gonna say. You have to really clean catfish. You have to make sure you bleed them, and then you like soak them in barrels of water. But even that isn't really enough. And I'm not a picky eater. I will eat really fishy fish. I think there's just something about catfish I don't like. I feel like you can taste the mud, you know? I don't think that's just one of those things people say. I think you can actually taste the earthiness in a catfish. They taste like decaying vegetative matter, because that's what they are. They're decaying vegetative matter in a sack of fish. Never had catfish? Oh. Family wasn't a big fish-eating family. I see. I see. That's very interesting. Some people aren't, right? Like, it would make sense. Some people live in landlocked states, and there aren't many opportunities to eat fish or seafood. Endo catfish are good? Fair. I don't know every species of catfish out there. Is this a Xander? Did I catch one? No, that's a sturgeon? Are you kidding me? It's the smallest sturgeon I've ever seen. Throw that back. Throw that back. It's not ready yet. If fried without flour? Ooh, ooh. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know every type of catfish out there, right? Baby sturgeon, that's right. Baby sturgeon, not legal to take. I'm pretty sure they're threatened, so we have to throw them back anyway. I've never had Indo catfish. It sounds pretty good. if fried without flour. A nice sear on a fresh fish is pretty good, yeah. The only way to eat catfish around here, like, first of all, don't do it. The water's too polluted. But if you wanted to, you have to cut off their heads, hang them upside down until they stop bleeding, and then when they start to clot, you put them in a barrel of salt water, and, and then you change the salt water. It's gotta be cold salt water, otherwise they're going to rot. But, yeah, you change the salt water often, and that gets rid of some of the muddy flavor. I don't know. It's not ideal. That's a bigger sturgeon. They kind of look like tiny sharks, don't they? Yeah. Although, fun fact, most sharks don't have operculum. And, I don't know if you know what an operculum is. Is my mouse captured? No. I don't think it is. But the operculum is a little gill flap here. That's what this thing above the fin... Oh, you know what? I have this. This is the operculum. It sounds like a fishy horror story. Heads cut off. Yeah, well... If you're hungry enough, you'll want to eat anything, right? Yeah, that's how I feel. If you're hungry enough, you'll try to eat anything. I'm not a picky eater. I will eat catfish if I have to. It's just not my go-to choice, right? Yeah. And again, most of them are like bottom-feeding scavengers. So they really accumulate the toxins and the disgusting flavors. They're kind of like tilapia, right? I don't like tilapia either. I get it. Tilapia are a great way to recycle... How do I say this nicely? Waste materials. Oh, from the fish perspective. Well, I don't think they're gonna mind, Diana. They don't really have a head at that point. Lower that drag. Lower the drag. Let it go out. That's a big one. Oh yeah, look at him flop. At that point, I think they're pretty much done caring about anything. Increase the drag a little bit lower. It's very much this kind of thing when you're fishing in real life, if you've never been, where you're just constantly messing with drag, constantly trying to keep tension on the line, constantly trying to fight against the fish. I like it. I really do like this game. For as cheap as it is, for as many faults as it has, for as lovely as the graphics are, I think this is a fantastic fishing game. I do wish it were easier to unlock certain things quicker. Let's take a look at this bad boy. Oh yeah, look at that. Positively prehistoric. You get a better look of the operculum here, and we even get this nice lateral line. Oh, this nice lateral line here, right? That's a sensory organ on the fish. Pretty sure it senses electricity, yeah? Fried tilapia can be good. Okay. Tilapia doesn't taste bad, okay? I will agree with you. It doesn't taste bad. It doesn't taste great. It can be cooked properly. And it can taste okay. Whole pond of fish? Tilapia are very useful fish to have in your ponds. Absolutely. Do not get me wrong. I do think tilapia are very useful to have. I don't know if I'd want to eat them, just because of what they eat. They're very much like the filtration unit of a good pond. And yes, they can grow quite big. And, I guess, if you mask some of that flavor, you know how I like to eat my fish? I like to have my fish with vinegar, malt vinegar, and salt. That's how I like to have my fish. Most fish. Lightly fried in flour is pretty good too, especially with butter. It's pretty nice. You have pink tilapia? pink tilapia. I don't think it makes a difference. I think they're all bottom feeders that filter out your water waste products. Poor grad student. Yeah. Oh, yes. Okay, okay. Fair, fair. I didn't mean to be, like, fish classist here, Diana. They are cheap for a reason, and, they're a nice source of protein. So long as you aren't feeding them garbage things. A lot of tilapia is farmed specifically to clean the tanks of other things, or to deal with waste products. It makes sense. So long as you're not accumulating heavy metals in the systems, it's probably fine. Yes, I do feel bad for you, though. Like, I'm blessed with, being landlocked, but still having access to decent fish. At least freshwater fish. Just not catfish. The catfish like to live in areas where there are heavy pollutants. Yeah, that's where the big ones grow. Yeah, they like the, I can't tell you what they like, but they like something. You know? Yeah. I think everything's pretty expensive nowadays. I went to the store the other day, and, a dozen and a half eggs were like $6. That just blew my mind, right? Like, I remember when eggs were like, you could get a dozen eggs for $2. One of the cheapest sources of protein out there. Nowadays, like, any kind of fish that isn't tilapia or grown in, like, some kind of, I don't know, filtration pond. Yeah. Yeah, you have my sympathy there. Term is starving. Yeah. Donner party. I don't know what the story that inspired Moby Dick was. I'm sure it was a whaling adventure. Plenty of starvation has happened in the world, and I will not knock anything. Eat heavy metal infested... No. I can't say that. If it's a matter of life or death, then eating something that is high in heavy metals is probably the least of your concern, right? As long as you can eat something and you can avoid starvation, there are therapies for treating heavy metal toxicity. Things like blood chelation, which is a fun word. You think it would have something to do with, like, key lime pie? Chelation? But no, it's about chemical compounding. Which is a lot less tasty, I think. Not that I've tried chelated blood, but I'd have to assume it's probably less tasty. A whaling adventure in cannibalism? Well, there's been a lot of cannibalism. I don't... I know what I just said, but I feel like there are better options. Like, there are always better options than cannibalism. Namely because of, prion disease and kuru. I don't want laughing sickness, you know? I think there are better options, and you could do the Mad Max thing pretty easily. You wait for the corpse of a human to get infested with fly larvae, and you take those fly larvae, which are also maggots, and you grind those up into a paste, and then you fry them like a hamburger. And it's probably better than eating the human flesh, right? There's much less likelihood of catching a prion disease if you're eating fly larvae than if you're eating human brains. Now, admittedly, if you're whaling in some kind of, I don't know, Arctic zone, I don't know where they were whaling. I don't think I've ever finished Moby Dick. I know what happens. I didn't have to. Yeah. I read different kinds of literature. So, I don't really know where their expedition was going. Yeah. Pequod. If you don't have access to fly larvae, which is very unfortunate because they're pretty much everywhere on Earth, then, I don't know. I guess use them for, like, human bodies for crabbing or fishing. Like, you could use those as fish bait. You don't have to eat them directly. You can eat the things that eat humans, right? And then it's no longer cannibalism. It's cannibalism twice removed. They were stranded at sea with salty food and no water? Yeah. Absolutely. Water is a bigger issue than food. Always has been. That's where grog comes from, you know? They were trying to keep their water safe, so they added alcohol. It was a disinfectant, in a way. Or rather, people who added alcohol to their water ended up not dying of dysentery or, you know, getting green algae water. Great idea, whether they knew what they were doing or not. But in nature, it's very much the rule of threes. Like, everybody talks about the rule of threes. You can go 3 weeks without food, typically. You can go 3 days without water. You can go 3 hours in extreme environments, so without shelter. Exposure will kill you in 3 hours, which is even more immediate than your need for water. And you can go 3 minutes, roughly, without oxygen to your brain, one way or another. After that, you're seriously risking brain damage. Although at 3 minutes you're kind of risking it. They like to throw that one on there, although it doesn't quite fit. It's something closer to, well, it's about 180 seconds, which is 3 minutes. It's fine. The equipment was ruined because a large sperm whale destroyed their ship. You know, if you're going out in nature and you're going whaling, I think it's fine if the whale fights back, right? That's on you. That's on you. I don't feel bad for you. I'm sorry if you're a whaler, and a whaler has destroyed your equipment. But yeah, what do you expect? Do you want them not to fight back? That's not very sportsmanlike. I want my prey to fight back. Otherwise, I don't feel like I'm getting enough of a thrill, right? And that's why we fight things like this as sports anglers, right? We want them to fight back. If they're not fighting back, there's no fun. Said that to these old time. Well, I'm pretty sure I can say it exactly because they're old-time whalers, and they're probably all, you know, not alive anymore, right? Most of them... I don't know how long it's been, but I'm pretty sure whaling has been pretty much outlawed in most places for a very long time, decades. I'm concerning you? What am I concerning about? What? This is history? Right. We're just talking about cannibalism and, whaling. Seriously though, if you go out after a lion, and you get mauled by a lion, what do you want me to say to you? Like, you knew what you were getting into. You go out on the ocean, in this rickety wooden ship, as a whaler, and you're going to attack a gigantic animal, one of the largest animals on Earth. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like a bad idea. Oh, okay. Yeah. Fair, yes. No comment. Yeah. No, well, when you're fishing, it is very much like... Oh, that wasn't a good bite. When you're fishing, fishermen do want the fight, right? That's why they set... that's why they set their drag purposefully low when they're catching small fish. It's so they can experience a fight. I don't actually like doing that to fish. Here's a fun tip. Don't do that to fish when it's hot. Oh, look at their sucker mouths. They're so gross. It's like an alien baby. Ugh. Yeah. When you're fishing, and the temperature of the water is, say, hotter than 75 degrees, and you're fishing for cool water fish that like water cooler than 75 degrees, try not to tire them out. Turn your drag up, and catch them quickly, then release them. That is when they're going to have the highest likelihood of surviving your catch and release. This is your public service announcement from Hyde. Cute suckerfish? Oh, you have terrible taste in fish. They're like aliens. Ugh. Ugh. I hate them. Their little mouths are so gross. I don't mind carp, but I hate those ones with like the bottom mouths. They're so prehistoric and ugh. They kind of remind me of Anomalocaris, because Anomalocaris has the same kind of sucker mouth, right? That's a big fish. Pretty sure I'm fighting some kind of prehistoric beast in there. Maybe we're gonna catch the Loch Ness Monster. The whalers who were involved in the real story of Moby Dick, they did burn a whole island? They burnt an island. Yeah, maybe they deserved it then? Like, I don't know what to tell you. If you burn an island and you cause the extinction of 2 different species, maybe you do deserve to get your ship ruined by a sperm whale. I'm not gonna say it has to be a sperm whale, but if it is, I think that's extra good. Wow. I did not know that. I didn't... I know that humans have destroyed so many isolated little island populations, so many little island ecologies, just being shipfaring species, right? We can introduce things like cats to islands that don't have natural predators, and that's really disruptive. Like, the food chain is no joke. You disrupt one part of it, and the whole thing just comes undone. I know we've done that, but I didn't know that, you know, the whalers behind that story had caused the extinction of 2 different species. Bit stupid? He sounds a bit stupid. Admittedly, I don't know if I'd feel bad about eating a tortoise. Like, if I ate the tortoises to extinction, maybe I'd feel bad. But maybe I wouldn't, right? Maybe if I ate a tortoise to extinction, I'd feel pretty good. There's gotta be that, like, warring conflict inside of yourself as a human, right? Like, knowing that you extincted an animal, and yes, I turned that into a verb. Knowing that you extincted an animal by eating it to death. That sounds like a brutal way to die, or for a brutal way for a species to die out, right? I feel like there is something about the conqueror aspect of humanity that just, you need to do that, right? Like, the human species needs to eat a species out of life and limb. You're worrying me. Don't eat things to extinction? I can't. Like, I'm not gonna go out there to a zoo and eat all the pandas, as delicious as they look. I'd get caught. I'm not good enough. Someone else will have to do that, Diana. It's the human way, right? It's the human spirit, Diana. And the human spirit is, you know, indomitable. Took too many? Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, humans, we try sometimes. We try, it's not good enough, and, then we end up with pandas. The dodos. I hear the dodos were delicious, though. Ida's not as old as the dodos, I think. No, I wish. I wish I could eat something that's going to go extinct soon. That sounds so great, you know? Like, imagine that. 50 years from now, you could say, "Yes, son. I ate the last of the living pandas. It was delicious." Right? I wish I could do that. Not that I'm going to have a son, but I imagine that as an old man, I'll probably be talking to myself if I'm still alive 50 years from now. And, I'll be talking to a chair, or maybe a lamp that looks like a character. And, I'll treat that as my son, Lamp Son, and I can tell him about... I think that'd be great. Unfortunately, I think most organisms are being preserved artificially these days. Pandas are not good survivors. They are not. Pandas would be extinct if it were not for human intervention. They'd be extinct because of human intervention, because humans cut down most of their bamboo forests, but they'd also be extinct if not for our intervention. They're not very good as a survival prospect. The only reason they survive at all is because they're cute, which is a great... Come to think of it, it's probably one of the best survival prospects out there, right? If you're cute, the world will hand you things on a silver platter. Whether that be bamboo forests or, you know, whatever else you want. World's your oyster if you're cute. Ah, no future Hydes. Less Hydes to worry about. Yeah, I never said that. Hyde is alive since the 1800s. You think I'm going anywhere now? No, no, no. Hyde's gonna be around. Still, I do wish... Like... I've always wanted to know what dinosaur tastes like, you know? I don't think it's ever going to happen. But if we ever do figure out a way to reverse engineer dinosaurs from chickens, say Jack Horner gets it done, I don't think he will. They'll make a chickensaurus, maybe. A toothed chicken with raptor claws, maybe a raptor tail. It's not going to be a dinosaur. I want to know what dinosaurs taste like. Like, if I ever get the chance to gnaw on a dinosaur bone in a museum, I'm going to do it. It's going to taste like a rock. And I know what a rock tastes like. I've tasted a lot of rocks in my day. As a ghost? Oh yeah, I could be a ghost. I'm pretty sure I'm an eldritch entity. I think that's the lore I went with. Like, I'm some kind of, cross between a Lovecraft character and Dorian Gray. Yeah, Dorian Gray is a very... Oh, I hate the chapters on the textiles. But Dorian Gray is an interesting story for the time. I'll give it that. Imagine dinosaurs more gamey chicken? I don't know. Nobody knows, Diana. Dinosaurs could end up being closer to warm-blooded animals, or they could be closer to reptilian in taste. Who knows? Like, anything is possible. I can't say that dinosaurs weren't even mammals, you know? Yeah, they could have been mammals. Yeah, they could have had fur. I don't think they did. I think most fossils with skin show dimpling for feathers, but that's only for the dinosaurs that we have skin for. The ones that we don't, who knows? It could be anything. Hard meat? I don't actually know, Wintercraft. I don't know if dinosaurs had harder meat. I know some had different blood regulation systems, or at least they're proposed to have different blood regulation and heating systems. Homeostatic components of temperature regulation aside, anything is possible. Oops. Nope. I said I imagine imagination. Well, yeah, okay. That's your imagination. My imagination is that I can't imagine it, which I think is probably more accurate. No dino very close to birds. Yeah. Well, okay, okay. There are two different clades of dinosaurs, right? Yes. Velociraptors and T-Rex are related to, closer related to birds. There are two different clades of dinosaurs. There are the Saurischians and the Ornithischians, right? The Saurischians have, they had lizard-like hips, which is why they're called Saurischians, and the Ornithischians had bird-like hips, which is why they're called Ornithischians, which is from the root ornithology, comes from, means bird. Whereas saur means like lizard, yeah? And, neat fact, the Saurischians are the ones that developed into modern-day birds. So, T-Rex was a Saurischian, and, yeah. They were birds after, right? It's a sort of example of convergent evolution, where the Saurischians developed the bird-like hip structure later in their cladistic branchings. Yeah. I do have a lack of an imagination. I really do. Also, I'm not very good with vertebrate paleontology, so I am pulling this out of I don't know where. I'm pretty sure it's true, which means it's probably true. Never knew that. Yeah, um, I don't know if I even know that, to be honest with you. I feel like I'm talking and I don't remember learning any of this, but it seems accurate. So it must be, right? I'm sure I'm not just talking nonsense about dinosaurs. No, I'm pretty sure that there was convergent evolution on that structure of the hips. And, yeah. Things like T-Rexes and, Velociraptors, they ended up becoming the closest branch to modern birds. Well, modern birds are descendants of that branch as well. Clade. Clade. I should say clade. Like, do you know what the difference between a clade and a taxonomic group is? Clades involve all related organisms and their, you know, closest related organism. That's all. It's a fancy word for a group of related organisms. All of them. Technically, we as humans belong to the fish clade. We're highly evolved fish, if you believe that. Yeah, yeah. I could put my tinfoil hat on, and I could spout conspiracies about being related to mole people if you wanted. But if you believe science, we are fish. Right, right. It's very possible that there were different regulation, or like homeostasis is the balance of the body, right? To preserve the body itself, you need to be in balance. You need the temperature to be in check. You need cooling. You need functioning of the nervous system. All of those homeostatic processes require different things in different environments. So it's very unlikely that any two dinosaurs would be quite the same tasting, I think. There were some that had probably huge fans on their back. Or, you know, like, not fans, what do you call them? Like little webbed spines, right? Much like a fish would have. Oh, we're out of space. This isn't good. Get rid of the carp. No one wants the carp. We just have a bunch of sturgeons. We'll get rid of you. You. How big is this sturgeon? There we go. Okay, so we have to go back. So they have these thermal regulators because of webbing, closeness of veins to skin, that kind of thing. Or you could have fats to insulate. There are different options for sure. If Dino were brought back now, they wouldn't survive? Yeah, absolutely not. They wouldn't survive because I'd eat them to extinction again. That's what would happen, Wintercraft. I don't care how oily they are. I'm gonna eat them. Wow, I am getting some stutters tonight. Again, it is raining pretty heavily here. So we're probably gonna end here soon. But look at this absolute monster of a fish. Can't even see it on the screen. It looks a lot like a shark. Except I'm pretty sure sturgeon, aside from having these bony plates, are true fish. And sharks are cartilaginous fish, right? So they don't actually have skeletons like us fish have skeletons. Yeah? That is big. It is pretty big, yeah. And they can live to be quite old, yes. Young ones, I'm pretty sure they're still threatened, so you're supposed to throw them back. Nowadays, sturgeons are kind of harvested, or some are grown in farms. Like there are farmed caviar. Yeah. Sturgeons are one of the sources for some of the finer caviars in the world. So there are now farms for sturgeon caviar. Yeah. So hopefully the sturgeon populations end up, you know, picking back up. No, Diana. I don't live anywhere where there are sturgeon, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure there are like 2 different species of sturgeon, and neither of them are around me, as far as I know. If I saw one of these where I was fishing, I would be very concerned. I'd think like, oh no, there's a shark in the water, that shouldn't be there. I'm gonna get eaten. Instead, all I have to worry about is like ancient alligator snapping turtles, you know? Those things look prehistoric in the water, and they will take your fingers off. So, it's right to be concerned about those. Sold. Smaller one. This one's pretty big too. They're actually not worth that much for how big they are. They were easy and quick to catch though, so that might be the way of catching things in the future for money. I'm glad I unlocked this zone, yeah. There's a big one. Yeah. Ooh, look at this thing. 30 kilograms. Can I? No. Hold on a second. No. Okay, I was going to try and not convert that in my head. I'm not going to convert it at all. I don't know. It's very interesting though. I like this game very much. I didn't really get to do too much Zatsu today, and I apologize, but I am going to end around here, yeah? This weather has been not only beating up my head, but also my ISP infrastructure, which is very unfortunate. I think next week we're going to probably do another chatterbait, as we're calling them. Because I have a lot of topics that I actually wrote down and wanted to discuss. Unfortunately, we did not get to them today, but they're always going to be there in my little notepad. And I'll talk about them next week, yeah? I had a good time, I hope you did too, and again, sorry for ending early today. I'm just not feeling great. Physically, just not great. I'll see you all again next time, but for now, hide out. Yep, wrong one. Yes. I'm sorry it was short this week, yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I hope you also feel better, and if you're suffering from headaches as well, I hope those end soon. I love you all. Hide out. Thanks, Wintercraft. See you all again next time. Thank you.